ahead of time. Uh, it does pay off. The house looks beautiful. It's very well maintained as well, so that helped. Uh,
Were you nervous?
yeah. We did it together. Joe and I did it together, so that helped too. You know,
Yeah.
as a team, and we had our daughter there too the first day, and that also helps. Everybody that came in felt more at ease, more inviting. So
Did you have any resources? Did you have
yeah,
a checklist?
I was working with one of my lenders, so he provided some flyers and information.
Okay, I'm gonna put into the chat right now a open house checklist. It's very basic. It's not gonna like, drive you crazy. I know those agents like Brent Gove, when he used to do open houses, he used to put up, I think like, I want to say like 20 signs. Like, we put up 4, 5, 6 signs. He would put 20 signs up. He would start at 9 o'clock in the morning putting up signs. And balloons work really well as well. Like you can go crazy with this stuff. But I'm gonna put it in the chat right now, just a easy way for you guys to not skip any steps.
Yeah, we use 4 signs around different corners and some balloons and the sign in front of the house.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, nowadays you don't really even need that much. I remember doing open houses, and I would literally like ask every person, how'd you hear about the open house? Because I wanted to make sure that whatever's working, I want to continue doing that. So now it's like, oh, you guys could come in just because you drove by and saw the sign on the house.
Well, we also went around the neighborhood the day before, handed out open house flyers
good job.
to the neighbors. We did a couple of blocks, and that helped too. Some people came in from the flyers.
Yeah, of course. That's a great opportunity because that's when you're planting seeds in the neighborhood and you might be able to get yourself some more listings. I remember one of our agents who used to work with us when we're at Culture, her first year, she did open houses. She would knock every door. And then she came back, I think it was after the first or second open house she did. And she's like, I can't believe it. I'm getting a listing on the same block that I did the open house on because, I handed out flyers. I'm like, well, yeah, you should believe it because that's what happens. You knock on enough doors, you're going to get a response. It's not going to happen every time, but it'll never happen if you never do it, if you never try.
Yeah.
You can even door knock after the open house and say, guys, I just want to let you know we had an open house last weekend. We had such an incredible turnout. I'm not sure if you've ever considered selling, but this is the kind of offers that we got. So many people came to the open house. You get people excited when you give them statistics like that.
Yeah, that's going to be the plan.
Yeah, good. Anyone else? Anyone else want to share? Come on, guys, don't be shy. I'm sure one of you guys have. I'm gonna put somebody on blast if you guys don't join. I'm gonna play roulette. All right, I'm gonna pick somebody out. I want to shout out Joelle because she is studying for her real estate exam in Florida, and I think she's taking her exam today. So everybody wish her luck. She's been nonstop studying from what I hear.
Good luck, Joelle.
She's probably studying right now. That's why she doesn't want to talk.
I'm sorry, I'm actually eating.
All right. Well, everyone says good luck, Joelle.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Good luck, Joelle.
Good luck, Joelle.
Thank
Awesome.
you, guys.
Cool. All right. Anyone else before we get started?
Louis, it's James. I'll
Hey, James.
say we had. Hey, how are you?
Good, brother. What's going on?
Good. We had Ginsburg and Roselle. So we're waiting, to see, what offers come in. So we're excited about that. I'm trying to close out a property, in Newark. It got halted at the walkthrough on Friday due to some water accumulation that was found in a basement. I'm on the seller side, so I've been working with plumbers and the sellers and the buyers and guys and basement guys all weekend. Got it fixed by last night, and everyone seems happy. So hopefully we close end of today. So fingers crossed on that.
Yeah. I also want to, I want to point somebody else out on this call, James. That you reminded me. Congratulations on that. That's big. And James, if you guys don't know, James started as a part-time real estate agent, and part-time real estate agents usually don't make it. They usually end up quitting real estate because real estate requires a lot of your attention, a lot of work. James is one of the few that actually did make it out of the part-time status. I remember the day where he's like, Louis, I quit. Not real estate, but he's like, I quit my job and I'm going to go full-time now. I was like, James, you're going to explode. And literally he did. Within the next month or two, he started doing a lot of business. And now he runs his own team. He's got about 6, 7 people on his team, maybe more. And James is now he's a leader. So I mean, like a guy who was like part-time real estate agent, now he's a team leader. You know, it's very inspiring. So congratulations on that, James.
I appreciate that. I appreciate you forever, Louis.
Yeah.
You're the best.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate that. And I also want to shout out Brent. He's Haggerty. He's a good friend of mine here as well. He's on the phone. He had not one, but I think he had 3 closings, or he's about to do 3 closings in 1 week. Those are his first few that he's ever closed. So congratulations to you, Brent. Brent was telling me that the other day, I'll let him tell you the story, but he was just telling me how, you know, thanking me for walking him off the ledge, because he was also another one who was thinking this was going to be a lot easier than it was. We coming in, we think it's going to be like HGTV. And he saw quickly that it's very difficult, not just because it's difficult to, you know, run around and deal with people, but it's difficult in your own mind because you start getting these negative thoughts about, oh, this is not going to work. Maybe this is not for me. Maybe I'm too young. Maybe I'm too old. Maybe I'm too this, I'm too that. And, you know, we start getting in our own heads, and sometimes we need a little support system. That's why I think these Monday meetings are really important, because Brent did, you know, listen to me and he stuck with it. And he's 6 months in the business now. And I think he did almost, I think it was 3 closings in 1 week. So I told him to slow down a little bit because he's going too fast. I said, Brent, you're not supposed to do so good so fast. So take it easy. So I'll let him explain to you guys. Go ahead, go for it, Brent.
Well, some of it's just dumb luck. So a little hard work
No
over
such
the
thing.
6 months. Am I muted? Can you hear me?
No, what I said, Brent, is there's no such thing as luck, man. We create our own luck.
Oh, so hard work. I got a call last Monday morning driving up to one listing to get ready for a closing. The result of that call was the guy's wife flew down on Wednesday. I showed her 4 houses. They signed the contract on Saturday. Last May, I took someone in new construction and they came down, and I got a call from the agent. They went under contract for 1.4 million yesterday. And then there were a couple other listings that I did, and I got contracts on those. So if it's not luck, it's hard work that took a long time for the seed to turn into fruit. But don't give up, because I almost did.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, Brent. Well, thank you. All right. So I've been very inspired by all of you. So thank you for always being here on Mondays, and thank you for inviting new people. And I thank you guys for sticking with it. I know you probably have better things to do on a Monday morning, because Mondays are usually very crazy for everyone. You want to get the week started, and you know, just getting the kids ready, get all these things out of your way before you even start working. But making time for this is very important. So today we're going to cover something I feel is very generic, but also very powerful, because you can apply this to just about every facet of your life. What Alex Hormozy was talking about in the video that was playing when you guys first jumped on was a process called inversion thinking. Inversion thinking is very powerful, because we've all heard the term positive thinking. We've always heard about the term affirmations. We're very familiar with this stuff, right? But what he says is that, you know, this comes from a lot of other people, such as he mentioned Charlie Munger, you know, Warren Buffett's business partner. You know, a lot of people have really come to understand that the human mind doesn't really work that way. You know, positive thinking and affirmations, they're great. They're a great way to maintain a good mindset. But to break out of a bad habit or bad routine or bad mindset, sometimes he says you need inversion thinking. So what inversion thinking basically is I'm going to give you guys a quick example. You guys ever realize that we only remember the bad things that happen to us, or we only focus on bad things that happen throughout the day? But meanwhile, we're breathing, we're walking, we have food, we have shelter. But meanwhile, we're only focused on the guy who cut us off on the highway on the way home, right? Think about that. Right, because our minds are pretty much programmed to focus on bad things for I guess for survival purposes. So a lot of times that we do this, it's really just to keep ourselves safe. So if we're let's say, give you another example, if we're on a ski slope and we're skiing down a hill, and there's a cliff on the left hand side, but you have a straight path in front of you, and this is a Tony Robbins metaphor that I'm going to give you. The mind keeps thinking about that cliff. Our mind always focuses to what could go wrong instead of what could go right. But if we only focus on that, on the side of the cliff, for some reason or another, our body starts to shift that way because that's all we could think about. But if we start thinking about the opposite, then we can get the opposite, right? Hopefully that makes sense. So what inversion thinking is basically figuring out how to get the opposite of what you want, figure out what it takes to get the opposite of what you want. So that way you can that way you can kind of train yourself that, hey, I need to stop doing these things. So this video that I just played, I'm going to put the whole link to it in the chat so you guys can watch it. But what I'm going to do today is something like we've never done before. This is going to be a lot about you. It's going to be a lot about us and about personal experiences. In the chat, I want you guys, obviously we all have different goals in this group. In the chat, I want you guys to think about something that would get you the opposite of what you're going after. So let's use Alex Hormozi's example. So in his video, he says, the title of his video was reprogram your mind to be rich in 22 minutes. But what he does is he gives you 28 ways to become poor, right? So 28 ways to become poor. So some of the things he said early on were wait until tomorrow, right? So a good way to become poor is always say, I can do it tomorrow, or wait till tomorrow. How many times have we told ourselves, I'll start that diet on Monday. I'll start prospecting tomorrow. I'll make that phone call tomorrow. And then tomorrow comes and your mind is like, oh yeah, I'm too busy right now. I'm going to do this. Oh, you know what? I can't today because I got a cold. I'll just do it another day. I'll do it tomorrow. You know what? And that's the easy way out, but that's also the way the majority of people think. So it's a good way to stay broke is what, according to him, is what he's saying. So I want you guys to really participate in today's exercise. What I want you guys is to figure out what is it that you really are after? What is your goal? Is your goal to find the right business partner? Is your goal to find the right life partner? Is your goal to become rich? Is your goal to become a top listing agent? Is your goal to buy your parents a house? Is your whatever your goal is, right? Now think about, how do I get the opposite? How do I lose my relationships? How do I stay poor, like Alex said? Or how do I never buy my parents a house, right? What do I got to do to never buy them a house? So come up with the answers of what that may be, such as like what Alex said earlier on. Alex was saying that, you know, you picked the wrong, hold on guys, sorry. That's very annoying. Alex Hormozi said early on, like in his video, he said, well, if you want to stay broke, pick the wrong spouse, right? Like that's a good way to stay broke. You pick the wrong spouse who doesn't support you, who doesn't understand your business, who doesn't want to, you know, give you help in whatever way you may want. That's a good way to stay broke. That's also a good way not to reach your goals if you have the wrong person in your corner. So what I want you guys to do, and I'll start with a couple of examples, I guess I would say. But I want everyone in the chat, or you can unmute your mic if you're brave. If you're not brave, just go in the chat. But I want everyone to participate. So what I want you guys to do is state the goal. You only have to do it once, but you can give us as many examples as you want. State the goal. So if the goal is, I want to leave my full-time job. Okay. So the question has to be, how do I leave my full-time job, right? That's the question you would normally ask yourself. But we all know the answer to that. So what you should do is, how do I keep my full-time job where I'm miserable at? How do I keep it? So you got to reverse the question and make it into something negative. So how do I keep my job? And then on the bottom could be, well, always make excuses why I can't work after 5 o'clock, you know, maybe something like that. Or, you know, just don't wake up at 4 a.m., you know, because if you have a 9 to 5, no one says you can't, no one out there is going to tell you can't wake up at 4 so you can get 2 or 3 hours worth of your side hustle in before you go to work at 9, right? So think about these things and give me the examples of what it would take for you to not get what you want. So to get what you already have, or to get what you're not looking for. All right, hopefully that makes sense. So I'm going to go ahead and start with an example. So obviously one of my goals is, obviously I'm going to use Alex's is you know, how do you get to a point where you're financially very, very, very secure, right? So how do you stay broke? I'm gonna stay with his example. So a good way to stay broke is to always find fault in other people, or find fault in other situations. Always be the victim, is I guess what you could say, because a lot of us try to do things that are uncomfortable and they don't work. It doesn't work out for us. So we always try to find it and cope with that in a way where we seem like, oh, I'm the victim here. I can't do it because, you know, I don't look the part. I can't do it because I don't know anyone here. I can't do it because everyone here, like, to give you a really good example, guys, of what it really looks like in real life. I've been trying to grow this organization in Florida, right? Florida, guys, if you're not familiar with it, real estate agents in Florida, a lot of them get 100% commission splits, right? And that's like the norm. I know in a lot of parts of the United States it's not like that, but here it is. So I could just say, you know what? Oh man, I picked the wrong state. I can't get any real estate agents to work with us here in Florida because everyone's used to getting 100%. You know what? It's my luck. I should have picked a different state. I should have picked Arkansas, right? But I didn't. I'm in Florida. And you know what I do is I look at that as like, okay, because it's difficult here and because no one else is going to be trying here because it's so hard, it's an uphill battle. I'm gonna be the one that's going to succeed with it. And I'm going to make it work because I have less competition because there's really, it's a hard market to break into, right? So my question would be like, okay, well, what I would say of an inversion thinking would be something like this. It would be, well, I can't recruit any agents here in Jersey to in Florida to work with us because everyone here is at 100% commission. So you know what, it's not my fault. You know, it's the fact that this state is messed up. All right. So blaming others or blaming or being the victim, that's what I'm going to tell you guys is a good way to have inversion thinking about. I'm sorry, is to have a negative mindset towards what you can achieve. Let's see. Anyone else? Any volunteers that want to speak up?
This is Dorothy.
Hey, Dorothy, how you doing, sweetheart?
I'm doing good. My goal is to help pay for my granddaughter's tuition.
Okay.
And the negative is the negative would be is what do I do not to help my daughter pay for her tuition?
Yeah, what would you do in order to fail at that goal? What would you have to do?
Make excuses of why I don't make my calls or why I don't prospect or why I don't knock on doors. Make excuses.
Yeah. Is that something you've experienced in the past where you found yourself making excuses? It's okay. I mean, we're transparent here.
Yes.
Okay. What have you found that excuse usually looks like?
I'm blaming some health issues.
Okay.
That I've had in the past, but it's time to push through that. And the only way I'm going to get past it is to push through it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, the health issues, obviously, you know, you obviously can't really make too many justifications for, you know, obviously it is what it is. But if you're able to talk on the phone, if you're able to jump on a Zoom call, you could pick up the phone, Dorothy. I know you could do it. And if part of your health routine is walking, well, go knock on some doors. That'll kill two birds with one stone. You'll get healthier, and then you'll also meet the neighbors, and you'll get some business out of it.
Good idea. Yes.
Absolutely. That's great. Thank you for sharing.
I can go.
Yeah, go for it, Sarah.
Okay. I don't want to cold call.
Okay.
I don't want to cold call, but then can't get more clients and I can't buy Bitcoin.
So you want to be a listing agent. So how do you stay a buyer's agent? You don't cold call, right?
Yeah.
Got it. So not cold calling. So not cold calling but what's your excuse for not cold calling?
Me?
Yeah. What's your excuse
personally?
What's your excuse for not cold calling?
Well, now I have to because I just started the new coaching program. So
okay.
I will do it, but the reason why I didn't do it, it's ego.
Ego, because you're worried that your ego is going to get hurt, right?
Yeah.
So protecting your ego is a great way to stay broke, guys. That's what we're trying to accomplish here. That's what we're trying to figure out. Okay, protecting your ego is a great way to not be a listing agent. Yes or no? Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. I love it. That's what we're getting at. That's what we're getting at. That's what we want. We want the breakthroughs here. We want to understand what is it beneath the surface. What is it that we really need to understand? It's keeping us from being there. Now, if you have a strong ego and you call someone and they hang up on you, or they curse you out, or they tell you that they have a family member that's a real estate agent, that's going to hurt your ego. But if you're in your life, your goal is to protect that ego of yours, well, you're never going to see the other side of whatever it is you're trying to get to. You're never going to see that. If you can actually appreciate those people, and this is more inversion thinking, if you can appreciate the people who are rude and nasty, hang up on you, because you know that that's one person less that you have to deal with to get to that person who's going to say yes to you. Okay. So think of it as a blessing. Thank you. Another reason why you want to thank that person is because they're keeping your competition away from doing what you're doing. right? Because we need the nasty people. We need the people who are rude because it keeps our competitors comfortable in the office, comfortable in their bed, comfortable at their house, making coffee at 11 o'clock in the morning, just getting the day started. Let them stay comfortable, but we need to be uncomfortable starting at 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. every day. Make sense?
Yeah.
Or good, Sarah. Thank you for sharing, Sarah. All right, anyone else? I'm gonna go to the messages in the chat last, but I want you guys, if you're brave enough, remember this is one of the things, and a good way to stay broke is being shy. All right, let me not put you guys on blast, but I think we have a person raising their hand. Eva, you wanna enlighten us?
Yes, hello everyone. I'm just a guest today on your Zoom meeting.
Welcome.
Brent invited me in. Thank you very much. I just want to share, I've been in real estate almost 4 years. I'm not really successful. And one reason, like you mentioned before, that I am a part-time realtor. Also, I am a foreign. And my big, I guess maybe fear was that the language barrier. And so I actually went on open house helping my friend to do a $2 million listing. And when I saw how she's good with her language and the knowledge, because she's also um, in staging and all that stuff, and she knows so much, and the knowledge, it's so easy to get like down on yourself and say, hey, I don't have the knowledge, you will never be in this kind of level of selling. It's better for me to say, just quit, just don't do that, just stay where you are, or so absolutely, it's so easy to be negative. And in that, I've been in that for so long, but I don't want to do that anymore. I just want to be positive. And as you say, you need to not only be positive, but if we stay in the negative level all the time, we will never move forward. And so I'm not giving up. That's just
Eva.
wanted to, I wanted to just share that no matter where you're from or who you are, you just be positive and go forward, But yes, absolutely, take this kind of, lesson to try to see yourself and be negative, because that will not take you anywhere. That's all I want to say. Thank you.
No, absolutely, sir. Eva, thank you so much for sharing with us. But I want you to repeat one thing after me, okay?
Right.
A good way to stay a part-time agent.
Okay, a good way to stay
A part-time agent
agent
is to have self-doubt.
is to have self-doubt. Yes.
Yeah. So if you're gonna doubt yourself, you're gonna stay a part-time agent forever. If
Right.
you're gonna, so that's a good way for you to understand. If I want to continue like this, well, let me just continue doubting myself. Let me continue down that road, because that's where you're gonna get. If you don't believe in yourself, no one else is gonna believe in you either. So continue with what you're doing. What you said this morning is very powerful. I just need you to understand that we're always going to be the barrier that's going to keep us from what we really want. Okay. So no one cares. No one cares that you have an accent. Nobody cares that you maybe only sold 5 houses. Nobody cares about any of this stuff. Okay. All they care about is that you care about them. That's all they care about. I met a lady the other day. She's Croatian. She's in Cape Coral. I went to her office. She has a beautiful office. She has a beautiful life. She has beautiful everything. But when she first came to Florida, she started off cleaning houses. But in the meantime, she would be recommending real estate agents to all of her clients, because some of her friends were real estate agents, and she had a lot of clients who she cleaned houses for. And then somebody told her, like, oh, you'd be really good at selling real estate because you're always connecting people. You're very social. And she was like, no, I don't think I can do that. I don't think I can do that. And then he finally convinced her to get her real estate license. I think somebody even had to like pay for her to get her real estate license. She got it. And then she would only go sell homes in a section of Florida called Lehigh Acres, which is like a lot of Hispanic immigrants, a lot of lower income families. And she said, I would only go there because I didn't really speak English well, and they didn't speak English well, but we didn't even speak the same language either. But those are the only people I thought I could sell to, right? That's what she said.
Right.
And then it turns out, after a couple of years, she was mentored by a lady who owned a Century 21 franchise. She had like 1,000 real estate agents working for her at one point. She was mentored by her, and she said, you're no longer going to sell homes in this price range. You're going to move up. And because it took someone to tell her that she could do it, Today, she only sells luxury properties and she only builds new construction. And she's, believe me, fabulous woman. You guys would have to, I would love to recommend you to talk to her one day. She's amazing. But she started off just like you with self-doubt. She's like, I can't because of my language. I can't because I don't know anyone. I can't because, people, I'm not a luxury person. I never, the only luxury homes I've ever been in, the ones I clean, so it's easy to get caught up in that, but don't do it. Let's not do it to ourselves. Thank you for that. Cassandra Craig. Cassandra's going to share how she's going to not achieve her goals. So go for it, Cassandra.
All right. So my goal is financial independence while doing something I enjoy and helping others at the same time.
Okay.
So in order to not do that, I could basically just say, why don't I just go get a job somewhere and work for someone else and do something I don't enjoy and be limited to how much I can make and who I can work with. And because this is too hard if I think of it that way.
Taking the easy road, right?
Right.
Taking the guaranteed paycheck. That's a way to never become financially free. Absolutely.
Right.
Congratulations to all of you if you're in real estate, especially if you're doing it full time, because it shows you how much you believe in yourselves, because we are not guaranteed that paycheck. It could be literally months between paychecks. So congratulations to anyone who has really gotten that. But the reason why that speaks volumes about you is because it shows how much you believe in what you could accomplish. Having that steady paycheck and letting go of that to not only believe in what you can produce as an individual, that is amazing. So Cassandra is basically saying, if I want to stay broke, I'm just going to continue looking for 9 to 5s. Okay. So a good way of staying broke is to look for the easy way out, is what Cassandra's saying. Is that correct, Cassandra?
Yes.
Okay. You're going to take the hard road, right? Instead. So
Correct.
What does a harder road look like? What is the road that Cassandra would normally not take? What does that look like?
Well, I don't know if it's really a harder road. It's not that it's hard, but you need to do the work. So, and doing the work is what allows you to be able to be successful. If you are too worried about doing the work because you don't think you could do the process, then you'll just, then people are just, well, yeah, it's so much to know. It's so much to learn. I have to talk to people, whatever. Then they'll just say, well, I'm just going to go and have someone else pay me and just work 9 to 5, have my work be done when I'm done going home. Real estate for me is really, not 24/7, but 18/7, because you really need to be available for your clients all the time. Yeah. And there's really no other job that you get paid hourly for that's going to do that. So that's a big thing in your own on your own schedule. Some people are very protective of their free time, and you don't have a lot of free time when you're an entrepreneur, when you're building a business, because most of your time goes to that. And so you have to be willing to accept that. And it's not that it's hard, it's just that you got to do it.
Yeah, you do.
That's all.
You got to do the hard things. Absolutely. Not doing the easy stuff or taking the easy route is going to give you the results that majority of people have. And the majority of people are not financially well off. The majority of people are just very comfortable and they're just getting by. And we don't want to be one of those. We want to be the ones that are thriving. We want to be the ones that succeed. Right. To do that, we do the uncomfortable thing. So good job on that. Anyone else want to volunteer?
Part of the hard road.
Say that again.
Can I say
yes,
part of the
Belinda,
hard road? Because
go for it, Belinda.
Backing off of Cassandra.
Yes.
The hard road is letting stuff get cut off.
Letting stuff get cut off.
If there's anything harder than that, when you have a family depending on you, I don't think there is. When stuff starts getting shut off, that's the hard road.
Yeah. That's when you've screwed up. You've let it go too far. You've let it go too long. Right. And it's easy at that point to feel like a victim, right?
Yeah.
Good. So so a good way to stay broke is doing the easy things and not doing the hard things. And that leads to things like what Belinda just said. Doing the easy things would be sleeping in, right? Telling yourself you deserve a day in. telling yourself, oh, you know what, that stuff is really not, it's not for you. It doesn't work for you, but it works for other people. You know, selling yourself on a story. You know, that's what keeps us broke. You know, giving ourselves excuses and ways out. So let's not fall victim to that. Anyone want to share? Anyone else want to give us how to stay broke or how to not achieve your goal? All right. I'm gonna go to some of the chats here. You guys are being too shy. You guys are being too scared.
Louis, I'll be happy to jump in if you
Go
want.
for it, Teresa.
I'm in the chat, and I said, how can I do too many things that will keep me stretched as thin as possible? So how can I try to wear myself out? How can I stay distracted? How can I just get really busy doing a lot of things that are really important, but not the most important?
Yeah, what effect does that have on you?
It affects with distraction. It affects with tiredness. It affects with making sure that I'm just doing things that are wearing me down instead of moving me forward.
It keeps you and it keeps you in a negative mindset, and it probably doesn't make you a lot of money doing that stuff where it's just distraction work, right? Busy work.
Sure. Well, it's all part of it, but that question is a really good way. So thanks for sharing this concept. It's a really good way to look at things in a different way.
Oh, absolutely. So Teresa's I guess her question is, how can I do way too many things that will keep me stretched as thin as possible? So yeah, I love that, because this is one of the things that keeps us broke or keeps us stuck where we are, is where when we don't have laser focus and we just have a lot of moving targets and we're trying to do way too many things ourselves. We don't believe in delegation because we think no one could do it better than us. We don't believe in getting help because of our ego. We don't take chances because we don't believe in what we're doing enough to hire someone, because if we hire someone, oh my God, that means I got to pay someone, which means I'm going to go broke. So what she's doing a lot of times, or what she's saying she could be doing if she's going to keep herself in the position where she's found herself at times, is not focusing on what moves the needle for Teresa the most. So if there's one activity out of 10 that she does during the day that gets the job done, she needs to really just figure out, how can I just focus on that one thing 8 hours of the day? If you guys have ever found yourselves in a pinch where like the utilities got cut off, the car is getting repoed, or you got to make the mortgage payment this month and you haven't made any money. I'm sure that if this has happened to you, or God forbid there's a medical emergency and you need to pay for something for someone in your family, you'll find a way, right? You will find a way to make that happen. So how can we reprogram our brains to find that way to make that stuff happen 8 hours a day, 6-7 days a week, right? How can we build in that hunger all the time, right? That's a good question to ask ourselves. All right, next question. Brent says, how can I avoid attracting agents to my organization? Yeah, so Brent's big goal is building an organization because he's thinking like a leader. He's a natural born leader. You guys don't know Brent's background. He's a pastor. He's a missionary. He's done so many great things for other people throughout his whole life. That being a leader is second nature to him, right? So his thing is, how can I become more of an effective leader? But his question is, how can I not be a good leader, or how can I not build an organization? So how is a good way for you, Brent, to not build an organization? What would be the best way for you to be stuck at, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 agents wherever you are now? How do you just stay there, or how do you lose agents?
To lose agents, you don't.
You broke up, buddy. Can you say that again? Brent, you froze up on us. So while you get yourself back up, my question to you is, how do you become an unsuccessful leader, or how do you
You value.
Yeah, we're gonna need you to turn on your audio, or your internet's not working too well. Now we hear you.
Okay. A leader has to put value into the people who are following him. And if you're going to be a leader, you have to, can you hear me?
Yeah, but tell us the opposite. How can you stay still? How can you not grow your organization? How can you be a terrible leader?
Just make sure you bring no value to people. Make sure you never offer them anything that's going to make them better. Make sure that you focus on using people to get what you can out of them rather than bring value to them.
Sure.
Be a user. That's a great way to not attract people to you.
Whose interests go first if you're a bad leader?
If you're a bad leader, your interests are going to go first.
Yeah, before anyone else's, right? Terrible leader.
Yeah.
And people pick up on that. Maybe not right away because they're all euphoric about getting into real estate, but they'll pick up on it. The fact that Brent brings me no value. Brent does not take my calls. Brent only calls me when he needs something. Brent always barking orders, but never does what he tells me to do. Right, Brent? You tell him, pick up the phone, make some calls. Meanwhile, you're on the beach fishing.
Right, yeah.
Dolphin.
Let me just, since Lewis has got me on the hot seat just for a minute, let me just take this opportunity to welcome some people that are in the Zoom. I'm so proud of Cassandra, Teresa, Cassandra Craig, Teresa Haggerty, Eva Saab. I don't know if John Carutha is here.
John's here.
And I don't know if Randy Fulham is here, Fran Brock, Tanya Miller. But guys, this is why I want you here. Lewis has stuff to offer that I can't offer you yet. But we're going to learn this together. And for all the others, I just want to say thanks. Cassandra, could you just give us a shout out? Tell us just 2 things about yourself. You've already spoken. Teresa's already spoken. Eva's already spoken. I'm so proud of you, but thank you.
All right, 2 things about myself. Hi, everybody. I moved to Florida a couple of years ago from Northern Virginia. I've had my real estate license since 1996, and I was a broker in 2000 from 2005 until I left Virginia. So now I'm getting my real estate license here in Florida, and I take my test Friday.
Congrats, Cassandra.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
I want to piggyback on what Brent said. Hi, guys.
Hey, Vanya.
I want to shout out to Laura. Laura is here in the call. She's a new agent, and she just decided to go part-time on her job so that she can start investing time into real estate and eventually make it her full-time career. We showed houses together on, I think it was Friday or Thursday that we went to an event, and then we went to show houses. So she's starting the journey, and I'm very excited for her. I'm very excited she's here with her camera on. So if you can introduce yourself, Laura, and share a little bit about yourself.
Good morning. My name's Laura Allen, and I started out with real estate, got my license, and then COVID hit, and I am a nurse, so that took over because I didn't know what I was doing. The office shut down. So through a friend of mine, I met Ivania, and she just was such a light and so present and so helpful to me that I switched from one real estate company to join her. And I'm so proud of her, and I'm so thankful.
Well, congratulations, Laura. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
So Laura has not slept in 2 years. Thank you for your service, Laura. Awesome, awesome. Cool. So let me see. Now I'm going to bring somebody up who has been with our organization for many years. Her name is Nakia McCrae. And she came to me a couple of years ago and she said, Lewis, my goal is to leave my job by next year. Now, not to put her on the spot or anything like that, but it's been a couple of years now. So she owes us an explanation today, but she said it again today. How can I stay in my miserable, not just regular, not, not like my dream job. How can I stay at my miserable full-time job? So how can she do that, right? How can she do that? Obviously, she can only answer that because she knows what she does. So I'll open up the stage for her if she wants to at least give us a couple of pointers, unless she wants to type it in if she can't talk. Maybe she's at that job right now and she can't really say too much about it. But Nakia, how can you keep your full-time job? How can you do it? She's not here. She's not here. Oh my God. She's not here. I feel so bad. She probably had to go. All right. Well, Nakia, she's an amazing person. If you guys had an opportunity to meet her, she's just a very good soul, very, very sweet person. And I'll be honest with you, it's fear. If we operate in fear, because I've spoken to her in excess about this already. And Nakia, if you're watching this on a replay, I know that it's because of fear. I know a lot because we put a game plan together, right? So 2 ways of keeping your miserable full-time job is not executing on your game plan and living and acting out of fear. If we let those 2 things happen, then we keep our full-time miserable jobs. You guys agree? Acting out of fear and not executing your game plan, because you guys know, the formula to success. We all know it. Funny story is that one time when we were doing really well at a real estate company, my first real estate company I owned, my partner says to me, our agents are leaving and we're teaching them our secrets this is a problem. I'm like, why is it a problem? He's like, because they know our secrets. And I said to him, we could put our secrets on a billboard and no one will do them. And he's like, what do you mean? I was like, nobody's going to do the hard stuff. He's like, you sure? I'm like, no one's going to do it. They didn't do it while they were here. What makes you think they're going to go somewhere else and do it? He's like, oh yeah, you're right. The thing is, guys, you guys know the answers. You know what it takes to be X. You know what it takes to get to point A to point Z. But the problem is that we don't follow through on the game plan. A lot of times just because of accountability. So congratulations, Sarah. You just paid someone to be your accountability coach, which means you've increased the likelihood of you accomplishing what you want to accomplish by many thousands of percent. It's true. Studies say that when you have an accountability person, that you will so many times more likely to do the activity, right? It's not guaranteed you'll be successful, but it's guaranteed that you're going to do the activity, and enough activity equals success. Okay. So that's the formula. So what I'm saying here is if Nakia gets her game plan in place and she starts tasting a little bit of that success, well, the fear is going to dissipate. It's going to go down and down and down and down to the point where she's like, you know what? This doesn't look so scary anymore. This is actually okay. I can do this. I've saved 3 to 6 months of my expenses because that's part of the game plan. The game plan is what are your monthly living expenses? You know, not your monthly, I want to go on vacation every month expenses. I mean, your bare bones, what it takes for you to survive, keep the lights on, pay the rent, keep your kids clothed and fed. What is that number? And once you figure out that number, then you can make that transition very easily. But you can only do it if you follow through on the game plan, right? The game plan consists of activities, accountability, doing uncomfortable things, and doing the things that a lot of real estate agents won't do. So that's part of it. So thank you, Nakia, for at least writing that in there before you had to go. So Harry says, don't get listings, don't run buyers, don't work 7 days a week, don't post on social media every day. Okay, so these are things that Harry would do in order to stay broke. Okay, this is what Harry says. This is how he's going to stay broke or not reach any of his goals. So he's not going to take any listings. He's not going to work with any buyers. He's not going to work 7 days a week. He's not going to post on social media every day. He's not going to talk to people every day. He's not going to follow up. He doesn't get 6% commissions, and he doesn't call agents, etc. So what Harry's saying is that he just gave you his whole business model. He just gave you everything that works for him. And what he did right there was he just reversed it. And if you guys aren't familiar with Harry, I know some of you are new on this call. Harry is one of the agents who I think now he's probably been in the business 5 years, probably it's been 6 years, maybe somewhere in that ballpark. And when Harry first started, he had a really rough patch. He started off at a company where they used him and really kind of exploited him. When he joined Culture, his first year was a very difficult one, just like mine was, and just like a lot of other agents were. But he stuck with it, and he kept doing the things that people don't like to do. One of them is, if you guys are friends with Harry on social media, you see a post from Harry every single day, like multiple posts a day, and that really worked for him because he's always top of mind. So that's helped him build his self-esteem. He helped him build his book of business, and one thing leads to another, because success begets more success. So as you get success, you can build on that success, but it has to start with the hard work first and getting yourself in that position to receive the blessing before you can actually multiply that blessing. So what Harry's saying is basically, to stay broke, don't do any of the difficult things. Do the easy stuff. All right. So that's what he's trying to say. Harry's not here, so I'll move on. Tiffany Gary saying, allowing imposter syndrome to paralyze me. How many of you guys are familiar with imposter syndrome? You guys ever heard of that before?
No.
Okay. Anyone want to explain to what that is? Because I know what it is, but I'm just want to see if you guys give you guys an opportunity to speak. All right, let me give you guys an example. Have you guys ever watched the movie King Richard with Will Smith, and how he played Venus and Serena Williams' father? You guys have never seen that movie? Okay. Well, it's a story. It's the story of how Venus and Serena became tennis players, and how their father had a really big role in being part of that journey. But as you see in the movie, he's the only Black parent at any of these country clubs trying to get the girls to be coached by coaches. They're the only two Black athletes that are actually trying to make it into professional space. And it's easy for someone to say, I don't look the part, I don't fit the part. That's called imposter syndrome, right? Because you feel like, oh, I'm being an imposter if I do this. It's not, I don't fit in. I don't look the part, right? I don't speak like they speak, right? So that's giving yourself the reason to not try to do something. So the reason why I'm bringing up that movie is because if Richard Williams, if he would have stopped himself because he convinced himself that he doesn't look like the other parents, his kids don't look like the other kids, he doesn't have the money that they have because they grew up in Compton. I think it was Compton, South Central. Oh, South Central, was it? I think it's the same thing. Well, they grew up in a very impoverished neighborhood, and they didn't fit any of the molds that you would think that a tennis player family would fit. But if he would have let that paralyze him, like Tiffany is saying, then you would have never heard of Venus and Serena Williams. You would have never seen athletes like them break these molds that originally were the reason why a lot of other kids didn't try the same sport or didn't try to, do things that normally were limited to only a certain class of individual, a certain race of individuals, and maybe even, breaking the mold for women altogether, so that's why it's so important to not allow, because we have greatness inside of all of us and we all can do some really big things. But the problem is that sometimes we tell ourselves that we don't fit the part, we don't look the part, we don't act the part, all that stuff. But that's just called imposter syndrome. Now, there are a lot of people out there who are going to make you very uncomfortable and look at you in certain ways, but that's not a reflection of you. That's a reflection of themselves. That's a reflection of their insecurities, not yours. And if you let their insecurities and their negativity pierce your mindset, then you're going to only hurt yourself. There were plenty of times when King Richard was told, that, your kids are just never going to make it. They're not, do you know how much money it takes to coach kids to get into to become professionals? You just don't have those resources. People were telling him all of this stuff. And, he could have said, forget it. You're right. It's not for us. Families like ours aren't meant for greatness. Families like ours are not meant for, Ivy League schools, are not meant for professional sports, any of those things. But I recommend you guys take a look at that video, that movie. It's a great movie, even if you want to watch it with young kids. It's very, very inspirational, and it'll help them kind of see that there is no really any barriers. There's nothing you can't really do. So that's imposter syndrome.
Lois, can I piggyback off of you, because I'm the one.
Oh, there you are. I didn't know you were here, Tiff.
No, I'm here. I wanted to. That was a great example with the movie. I want to talk about imposter syndrome as it pertains to me. So
Please
with
do.
King Richard, King Richard was empowering his daughters, right? He was advocating for his daughters. So they had somebody that was like, even when they felt low. You said something about accountability partners. I think that's why it's important to have people that are like holding you accountable to what it is that you need to be doing. But like that self-doubt, sometimes if you never had that, if you never had people doing that, or you didn't have it growing up or whatever, it's kind of, you got to figure it out. And I think that's sometimes with me, I have to figure out. Sometimes I'm like, you know what, I'm not even going to do that because I'm not even going to do it. But I feel like I don't belong, you know what I mean? Whether it's at work, whether it's wherever I'm at. I have babies in the background, so sorry about that.
It's okay.
Fear of not living up to certain, like you said, expectations, or I'm gonna go here and they're gonna look at me crazy, or however it is. I'm too caught up in what other people think sometimes, or what I think other people think.
Mm-hmm.
What I think other people will say or feel. And so it's just really getting out of that. Even from learning about it to now trying to apply it to everything, it's been really helpful to me, because I internalize a lot of what I think, like you said, based on certain things. Oh, I'm Black, I'm this, I'm that, or I'm, or I'm a mother, or my weight, or whatever the situation is. I internalize that too much. That has nothing to do with what I'm doing. It has nothing to do with my skills, my talents, my leadership. It has nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
So I need to stop internalizing other people's stuff, or what I think other people feel, or whatever, and just do what I got to do what I'm passionate about doing, and that's it.
Exactly. Exactly. Because the last thing we want is to live our lives and then look back and say, you know what, I should have, or you know what, nobody really cared. That was just in my own head. And imagine the things I could have done if I would have just been okay with, you know, a little criticism, been okay with being told no. So you got this, Tiffany. Tiffany is is an awesome person. If you guys haven't spoken to Tiff before, I suggest you guys connect afterwards. And do you have an accountability partner, Tiffany? Do you have someone that you can call on? Because we all need that.
Right now, I have friends, but I don't really, in terms of like accountability, with work, no. And I told you I'm also moving to Florida too. I'm moving to Sanford, Florida. From right now, I'm in the Bronx, but I'm moving to Florida too. So
yeah,
I you know, I do things like this, coming on things like this. Sometimes I'll be here, you won't see me, but I try to do other things as well, because stuff like this keeps me grounded and focused, and it keeps me, you know, I have my goals and everything written everywhere. It's like, I got to stay focused. I can't, like you said, say, well, I should have, you know. I had a conversation with a friend of mine from when I was like 13 years old. She's like, Tiffany, I remember like you were always so like motivated, and you were like a businesswoman, and you were like 12 years old. And she's like, well, and I'm like, what? I forgot that. Like, I'm like, you know, all of these things that other people can see in me that I can't see in myself.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
like,
usually the case.
I got to get out of that so much. So just working through some of that, and therapy has helped me a lot with that. That's how I learned about imposter syndrome in the first place. So I need to get an accountability partner to really kind of help me with that, help me through some of those challenges and barriers that I have.
Yeah, and you guys know what's crazy about an accountability partner is that we're probably going through the imposter syndrome right now in our heads, and we're like, oh, I can't be an accountability partner to someone because I don't know enough to be an accountability partner. Accountability partner is just someone who is willing to spend 15 to 30 minutes with you, either on a daily morning call or on a bi-weekly call, whatever it is that you want to make time for, to make sure like, okay, well, we're being told that making phone calls is important. Okay, we're being told that doing open houses is important. We're being told that door knocking is important. Let's just hold ourselves accountable for those three things. Let's not overcomplicate it. Let's not try to reinvent the wheel and think that we're Tom Ferries over here. Let's just hold each other accountable for speaking to 5 people today that we didn't know. And then we'll check in tomorrow and we'll see how it went. Because if you have that accountability partner with you, it's more fun. And you have someone to bounce ideas from, and you have someone to talk about the mean people with. But if you're doing it alone, it's very likely that you're not going to continue doing it. You know, I'm telling you myself, I make a lot of calls and I do it alone sometimes, and it's lonely. You know, sometimes I call people and I'm like, you know, I just made some calls. How's it going for you? And, you know, they tell me their stories and I feel a lot better. Or if I have somebody with me when I'm making calls, it's so much better, because when you have those rude people, you're like, kind of like, oh, I just had this person who was so rude. Oh my God, you know, it's so funny, but whatever. It's not that funny, but it's funny at the moment. You know, whatever. You guys understand me. If you made a phone call before, you know where I'm coming from. But thank you for that, Tiffany. And Tiffany just shared her phone number in the chat. So if anybody wants and needs an accountability partner, I think it would be good to connect with her. And thank you. So we have time for one more. Anyone want to share before we go? If not, I'm just going to go Russian roulette on you guys. Okay. So Sophie says, I should not be doing open houses every Sunday. Okay. Yeah, open house is a great way for you to get business. Maybe not immediately, because obviously it's a roll of the dice with anything you do, but consistent action is always a good way to know that you're eventually going to get there. I should not be cold calling. I should not be letting my neighbors know I'm an agent. Yeah, so what she's saying is basically a good way to stay broke as a real estate agent is to not do any of the things that statistically and historically have made sense and have made money. So staying stagnant and waiting for the business to fall in your lap is a good way to make sure that you're not going to be a successful real estate agent. Now, are there agents out there who get business handed to them left and right and they do very well? Yeah, there are. But you know what? They've been doing it for 20 years and they did all these things for 20 years to the point where now their business is on autopilot and their phone doesn't stop ringing because they've nurtured their relationship so well that now they don't need to do as much. And maybe they have other people doing it for them. But before you get there, because the problem with a lot of agents is that they want to start with the luxury listing. They want to start being a team leader, you know, without even knowing anything yet. But you gotta go through the motions. You gotta understand what it is to do all these things if you want to be a successful real estate agent. If your path in real estate is to go straight to leadership, then learn all the things that leaders have to do. Take all the classes, surround yourself in groups of other leaders. That way you can learn, you know. So whatever it is that you want to do and do it at a high level, get with the people who are doing it. And then that way you can really fast track, your success and getting there much quicker. All right. Thank you for that. So anyone else? I'll give you guys a sec. All right. I'm gonna do a Russian roulette. Hopefully you guys are, I'm gonna close my eyes and see who we got. Who do we got? Who do we got? Who do we got? Oh, we got Alejandro. Alejandro, can you unmute yourself, brother? Are you in Puerto Rico or are you in the States? Oh, that is part of the States, but kind of. He might be busy.
Well, I wanted to come in here and say,
Go for it, Raquel. You saved him.
yeah, he's on, but no, I wanted to come here and say thank you to Ivania. Thank you to you, Louis. Well, Ivania, for bringing us, Joe and I, into this cause.
Absolutely.
And definitely getting at least me out of my comfort zone, and getting uncomfortable. I need to level up.
Yeah.
And a way to level up is getting uncomfortable, getting surrounded by people that are higher up and are moving forward. Because if I stay down here, there's no way I'm leveling up. And this is one of the things I need to do, is to get uncomfortable and get around people that are moving forward, for me to move forward as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for being here, Raquel. One of the crazy things about moving forward is I'll give you a second, Alejandro, but I just want to say one thing after Raquel. One of the things about moving forward is that we don't realize we're moving forward because a lot of us as human beings, we try to measure our success day by day, and we don't see the success on a daily basis. But if we just zoom out and look at what we can accomplish in 5 years, well, what we accomplished in 5 years is because what we did every single day, where we can't notice the differences. Like if you're losing weight, you don't notice you're losing the weight, but someone who hasn't seen you in 2 weeks is like, oh my God, you look totally different. And that's what happens. We see what we do every day. So it's hard for us. We get kind of blinded by it. But as long as you're doing the right things and you're moving just 1 degree every day, 5 years, 10 years, you will be like, oh my God, how did I get here? That's amazing. Well, it could be in a positive way. It could also be in a negative way. I spoke to someone I haven't spoken to in 2 years just the other day. And this person has always kept a negative mindset. And, they're doing worse than they were doing 2 years ago. And my heart went out to him, and I feel bad for him. But, you got to get out of that in order for you to get where you want to go. So, yeah. Now, Alejandro, go for it, buddy.
Yes. Oh, Lou, yeah, thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak. I was driving. I'm sorry.
That's okay. That was
just
fake.
driving, doing the Home Depot run and all that stuff, the fun stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So, when I started the career, I was afraid of actually fixing a house. I was afraid of I used to just buy it and I'm selling, making a quick buck and a lot less risk. And I thought it was more sense because I didn't have to be.
You muted yourself,
buddy. You're back.
I just start fixing them and I feel great because I just get out of my comfort zone and everything starts falling in place. Like, the electrician, the plumber, all the team. So I feel great. And I'll be taking 1 vacation a month, which is, I feel amazing doing it because I used to do that a few years ago and I stopped and I was kind of sad.
Yeah.
So that's my lifestyle, man, fixing houses and travel as much as I can, just living the best life I can because we're not going to last here long. So that's all.
I love that. I love that. I don't know if you guys know, but Alejandro actually backpacked through. Where did you backpack through? Central America, South America, or was it?
Well, it was actually 2 years. I went to Europe, a couple countries in Europe. I went to China, I went to Japan, I went to South America, Central America. I went to a lot of places. And up to now, have been the best investments I've ever made in my life. Like no house can replace that, no stock or Bitcoin or whatever can replace what I saw.
I love that.
The people I met. So that's I'm trying to just get back into it, because it just made me happy.
Yep. That's called lifestyle design. That's beautiful, brother. I love that. Yeah, the other day I saw Alejandro jumping off a bridge into the ocean. And I'm like, what? Where is this guy? And I thought he was in Colombia or something. And he's like, no, I'm in Puerto Rico. That's awesome, man. Yeah, and he wasn't like in a resort. He was hanging out with the locals, and I mean like in the huh?
That's what I love. I don't like. I don't. I tried the. I like to try the food, like
Yeah.
what locals eat, not the tourism.
Yeah.
And I drink whatever they drink, and I like to spare some time and see the life from different eyes, different culture.
hmm
They open my mind a lot.
So now sticking to our topic today, if Alejandro didn't want to live that lifestyle, if Alejandro never wanted to start fixing and selling houses, he would have told himself that no, I need everything to be in place first before I can do that. Because he said, as I took the chance, as I took the risk, the electrician appeared, the plumber appeared, the architect appeared, but he didn't have all those things in place before he made the decision to become a house flipper. He before that he used to sell the houses. Sometimes if he felt a little more courageous, he would wholesale the houses. But now he's actually buying them, fixing them, and flipping them himself, which takes more time. It takes a little bit more money, and it also obviously it takes knowing the right people to be able to do that. So a good way for him to have never become a house flipper would have been to say, I'm not ready. I don't have the crew. I don't have the people. So waiting for things to be perfect and getting stuck in analysis paralysis is a great way to not level up. Analysis paralysis will keep you broke, right? If he did that, he also would not be able to then also take a vacation a month, which he's not telling you he's spending 10 grand a vacation. He's telling you he's staying in local places. He's not staying in resorts, but he's living like the locals are. So just because he's doing that doesn't mean he has to spend $100,000 a year, 150,000 a year on doing that. You could do it with a much lesser budget if you find a way to create that lifestyle design. But if you tell yourself, I can only do it when this, then you'll never do it either. So I learned 2 lessons from him right there. Go ahead, Alejandro, you're saying?
I'm sorry, what's the question?
Oh, no. I thought you were saying something. What I was saying is that a lot of times we tell ourselves we can't do something and we postpone our living our lives because we say we can't afford it because of this, or we can't afford it because of that. So you, instead of saying I can't afford it or I can't do it, you say, how can I? Right? So a good way to not reach your goals is saying,
exactly.
I can't.
How can I?
Exactly. A good way is to keep your life the way it is and not enjoy your life is if you convince yourself, I can't afford it because, but you turned that upside down and you said, how can I afford it? Right? I think you're frozen. Well, I guess I'll take that as a yes.
Look impossible for me to sell houses. Like the very first one, I thought it was impossible. And I did it, and I sold many more, and I bought and sold, and bought and rent.
Yeah.
It has not been easy at all. Like you'd say, it's not going to be easy, but it's going to be worth it, and that's what I am. It's being worth it.
Yep. All right, so I'm going to leave you guys with one last one. I started it off. I'm going to close it off with a good thought that I just had. A good way to stay broke and not reach your goals is to not be coachable. The moment you feel you know it all, and the moment you feel like you've gotten everything out of anything and everything, and you're God's gift to real estate, God's gift to business, God's gift to anything, that's the minute that you are no longer going to be growing. You're going to be dying and stagnant. So stay coachable and stay humble, and you'll always find growth and success. So that's one way that I'm going to leave you guys with. All right.
I think the right coach, that's really important.
Yeah. Picking the right coach. Picking the right coach.
It's really shop around, not for the price, but for the right coach.
So Tara, real quick, we have to go. So if you can make it quick. Sarah, tell us about this new coaching investment you made in your business. What is that, and what is that costing you?
$3,000 for 12 weeks.
Okay, so that's $3,000 for 3 months. That's $1,000 a month, right?
Yes.
My math serves me well.
Yes.
Okay, so tell us now, what do you get for $1,000 a month? Accountability coach, obviously, right? For how many?
Yes,
how many sessions a week?
One group call,
Mm-hmm.
which it's gonna be like 5 of us.
Okay.
I will be in touch with the coach every single day.
Mm-hmm.
And one personal call, one-on-one every other week.
Okay.
And he's already sent me homework for today.
Homework. Good.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, you know, one thing is that for Sarah to do that and pay for it makes her chances of succeeding even way higher than just having an accountability coach. Because the moment you have an accountability person, your chances go high, and the moment you start paying for it means that, oh, I really have to do it now because I'm paying for it. So
Yes.
no matter what she's investing in it, she's going to get it back many, many, many times. So congratulations, Sarah.
Thank you
Awesome.
so much.
What
Thank you.
is your goal at the end of the 3 months?
Well, I'm promised big bucks after this program, so let's see.
Awesome. I like it. I like
No,
it.
I honestly, I've been shopping for a coach for a month, a
Yeah.
whole month. I attended a lot of sessions for different coaches.
Yeah.
I watched a lot of YouTube videos. I just believe that everybody has a charm,
Mhm.
and your coach should shine that charm that you have and not turn you into them. So
Cool.
most of these coaches just want to make you like another person, just like them, like a copy
Yeah.
of them. And that's not what I want, because there is no one size fit all.
Yeah. Everybody has their own skill set. That's true.
Yeah. And I wanted somebody that I actually got so lucky because my coach is from my office. It's somebody that I know personally.
Your coach is from your office, you said?
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah.
good. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense. Yeah, that keeps you even more accountable because they see you.
Exactly. You know, I get to see him in person, and there are actually 3 of them.
Mm,
And they're very high, like they're one of the very top producers in
Good.
EXP.
awesome. Well, I'm glad to hear that.
Thank
That's
you.
awesome. Well, thank you everyone for being on the call today. I know we've gone over a little bit.
Louis,
Let's go.
if I could just interrupt just
Yes,
for
sir.
1 second. One
for it.
lady I passed over, newly licensed this week. Congratulations to Kathy Donnarumma.
Mhm.
Kathy, I don't know if you're still there or not. If you are, just give a shout out and tell us where you're living and what your hope is for real estate.
Yeah, Kathy's not with us at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
but yeah, Brent's had an amazing streak the last couple of months of bringing on, people who are very much like-minded like him, looking to succeed, and they're gonna definitely hold each other accountable. They're all ready to go.
Great. I didn't know she wasn't there.
Yeah, she's not here. Sorry, bud. All right. Let's go ahead and close out. Thank you everyone again for being here. And next week, same time, 9 a.m. Hopefully you guys can invite someone as well. That would be awesome. Let's go ahead and close out with our prayer. Father God, we thank you for having us here on this call today, Father. Thank you for the lessons that we've learned. Father, thank you for the opportunity to hear the voices of the people that we haven't heard recently, who were brave enough today to share their story. Father, we ask you to pray over them, or we ask you to look over them. We pray that you bless their lives and bless all the lives of the people that are on this call and the people they care about, Father. We ask you to also continue giving us health, Father, and give us the ability to come back next Monday, Father, with some success stories, Father, so we can definitely grow your kingdom, Father, for the benefit of those people in our lives and the change we can make in the world. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Thank you everyone for being here. You guys have an amazing day, an amazing week.
Really great.
Thank you. Have a good week, guys.
You too, guys.
Thank you.
Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.